What's happening, chess fans? Welcome to Net Chess and Chill. Today is episode number 49 on my journey to 1200 ELO. So, if you guys like my content, please like and subscribe. And I guess without further ado, let's get into today's game. So, get some tunes on. You guys either do or don't like that. I don't know. I haven't gotten much feedback on it. I am thinking about changing my music up soon. Ollie Fletcher, good luck, my friend. We are going to play a good old London. My friend is from Iran, trying to learn all my flags slowly and surely, along with trying to learn a little bit of chess. So we can play a London as normal. I can go for a trade of bishops. I could even maybe go for a Joe Baba style London, which might be fun. And I don't know. I mean, he could pin my knight immediately. I think we'll just play straight up a regular old London. We can go for a trade of the bishops, because I don't really want his bishop here. So I expect his knights to come out. Okay, he brings out his knight over here, which he's going to go for this little tactic right here. I can just go for a trade immediately, I think. So if I do this and he takes, I take, he plays this move. Gotta move my queen again. I could drop her back here. Or we can just not allow the move in the first place. So I'm gonna play c3 just so he doesn't have that now. That way I don't have to move my queen more than one time. So we'll threaten to take the bishop. Yeah, more than likely he takes. We take. A lot of people play this now. I think if he does that, I could move my bishop forward. I could also just play a move like that. Okay. I'm gonna kind of finish my development, putting pressure on the knight. And they've kind of played this in a weird way. I feel like they have been moving multiple pieces in the opening, and that's just a little strange. But, I mean, it is what it is. We'll take with the queen. Maybe taking with the knight was better, but... So it looks like he's going to potentially create some weaknesses for himself. I'm now noticing that this pawn is weak, and I want to get castled and put a rook on the e1 square and push this pawn. So I can back the bishop up. I can trade. I think backing the bishop up is fine, but I don't necessarily want to mess up my pawn structure. I can't put the knight here anymore, right? Because he played this weird move. So if I take, he brings his queen out. She can't go anywhere on these squares. She can't really go anywhere on these squares. So she'd need to move again. I guess if I push this, yeah, my queen is still here. So I think I'm going to move my rook to the file, and if he wants to take, I'll take. And this pawn, like I said, is pretty weak, and his king is not castled. So I'll be taking like this if he does capture. I don't know, and then maybe we can build up some pressure. So he's creating big weaknesses in his position now. If I take this, he takes. I don't really want to back my bishop up, but maybe it's not a terrible move. He's winning just tempos on my bishop, so um and if I take, he brings his queen out, and then he castles king's or queen side. If I back up, he plays this. We'll just take. I'm not too, I guess, worried about it, but it is a little obnoxious. It looks like he's just going to start pawn storming, so I'm going to bring my queen over and start trying to push this pawn. Yeah, so he is just pawn storming. I'm going to take with my queen, and we're threatening to take here. Also, I have this check. I need to take my time. So if he plays this, if he plays pawn e5, I can take with the pawn. He can block with the knight. We'll give this check. He can block with the knight. I can then take this pawn here, threatening the rook. So we have a threat on the rook now. And I can also take this pawn on the next move with my rook, winning the queen. So might be a falling apart position for my opponent. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he's got something in mind. So this check is just devastating. This is also just winning a queen. I'm going to play this one because this is defended. So we're going to do this and win the queen, and then it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so he just resigns. Well, that was a quick game. Sorry about that. It's nice when we play pretty well, though. So we played with 90% accuracy, which is pretty cool. He played with 75.6. So we just played a regular London. I was really trying to... I want to start playing the Joe Baba London occasionally. But I don't think that it's as solid as the London. And I have a super high win rate when I play with the white pieces. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I win most of my games with white. Like 70% of my games that I play that I'm white, I win. With black, I tend to lose a lot more. And so I need to like study the Caro-Kann a little bit more. And then I also need to come up with a good answer for d4. I play the Slav, but I'm not so good at it. So I know that was a bit of a detour, but just kind of bringing you to where my head's at. So I just decided to play the regular London, so we just played e3. I could still transition into this Joe Baba style London, but I decided to keep it real. He hadn't developed this knight out yet, so I decided it was okay to develop this one out. I feel like if they develop this one, I like to wait on this knight as long as I can, because I don't like the knight coming over here and making my bishop play the moving game. So his knight hasn't gone to f6 yet, so I thought it was okay to bust this guy out, and if he does bring it out quickly, I can wait on this move, or I can just jump it in. It's not a big deal, but I feel better when the knight is here. So anyways, he brings out his knight on c6. I think that's a little bit weirder. I was expecting this knight to come out, but I don't know. I think a big weapon for you is to have this c-pawn, but I think he was going for cheap tricks. the bishops, he basically wanted to get his knight here so that he could fork this square, and my I mean, I can't take with the queen, right? So he was going for a little trick. So I didn't want to allow that at all. Another move that I could have played, I think, here was bishop to d3. If he takes, I take. But then he still has... I mean, this isn't a big deal at all. It actually doesn't really do anything. And now that I look at it, it's actually kind of a bad move because I just give this check, and then he has to go back. And I can probably win the pawn if if I was greedy, I could do that. But that's probably not a bad position either. I played pawn to c3, but actually pinning the knight. Okay, just interesting. I don't think I play that when I play the London ever. So I usually always put my bishop on d3 or sometimes e2. But interesting. I like that. Just kind of leaves this bishop here forever strong. But okay. I do develop the bishop to d3 to go for a trade. He takes. I take. He brings his knight in. I just finished developing with my knight, offering to take this and win a pawn. So I think he has to take. So he does. I take with the queen. I think taking with the knight is probably what the computer wanted, because my queen has a pretty nice diagonal here. And maybe we could reroute this way, or I could just even swing back over and come back. I like my knight on f3. It defends my h2 square. But the queen was on a good square, so I don't think we needed to move the queen to this abysmal square. So I kind of realized that right after I played it, but we're not in bad shape. So I castled. The best move here is to play a4 because they're obviously trying to not allow my knight to come in, and I mean, the bishop trade was going to happen. I brought the rook to the open file because I just noticed, I mean, once he played the move f6, that the e6 pawn is pretty weak, and I thought it's okay if he takes, right? I'll just take back with my e pawn, and this is a problem, right? He just kind of goes for my bishop. I took, which is the best move. Now he's super weak on the... I mean, he's made weaknesses for me. And I just decided to slide my queen over and push the pawn. The reason I slid my queen over here was because at the moment, I was looking at, I mean, could I move this knight somewhere and bring my queen here and give this check? Will that do anything? I think they should definitely have castled queenside. Like, yeah, I mean, they say just go for the knight attack immediately. It's kind of interesting to see the computer's thoughts on these things. So pushing the pawn immediately was great for me. I mean, I have the same thing going on, but I can actually double my rooks behind it as opposed to moving my queen for a third, fourth time now. I've moved my queen quite a few times. So moving my queen over was slightly dubious. I think the computer agrees, and I, now looking at it, agree with it as well. He can't allow me to take here, right? Because, well, I guess he could, but it doesn't really do anything. I still have this big threat of giving the check. Instead, he takes, which is the best move. I take with the queen, and we're completely winning here. Well, not completely winning, but we have a 1-point advantage here, and it's even material. So our position is really good. So I had a few things I was looking at. I was obviously thinking about just taking the e6 pawn, and then I was also thinking about, I have this check as well, which wins me another pawn on the next move. And that ended up being pretty simple for me. He blunders. So he defended this pawn, which is fair, right? And also, if I give this check, he can rotate his knight over and block the check. But then I get to win this pawn with a threat on his rook, and then this rook is renewed as a new threat. So now that I look at it, the knight coming over here, my queen, so hold on. I bring my queen here to give this check, which is what happens in the game. Let's see what their best move was. So moving their king, they just had to because this is too much pressure. And it makes sense too because now I can't even bring my queen over here, and they still have this kind of like pawn storm attack. But I don't know. I might have castled even before I did something like bringing the... He tried to defend, so he brought the knight back. I give this check over here because he didn't defend that. He's going to bring the knight in to block. So I get this pawn, right, which renews this threat. It doesn't do what I thought it did at first, was I get the pawn, and then I'm also threatening the rook. So it was good that he didn't move the rook in the game because it wasn't really under attack because the knight defends it. So in the game, I think initially I thought, take the pawn and I can win that, but actually I can't because the knight defends it. So I took the pawn, which is a mistake. Wow. Why can't he take? Because this. So that's a powerful tactic. I don't think I mean, this says it's a mistake. It is a mistake. So in this position, if I just give this check, he takes. Oh, yeah, he can just take it then. Okay, interesting. And I can't give this check. It's defended 2 times. Okay, so that was a bit of an error on my end, actually. But my opponent didn't see it, fortunately for me, because that is kind of a error. Because I can't actually get my queen out of here either. I can't take the pawn. I can't, you know. Yeah, my queen is... I mean, I can move here, right? And I can also... No, I can't even go here either. So, yeah, it's pretty dubious for me. Anyways, they go for this attack on my knight. I just attacked the king with a threat on the queen, and I mean, this is killer. He did not need to allow that. That rook move to h6 is a really good move. I mean, I think my queen could have lived over here for a little bit and still been a nuisance, but he could just queenside castle, and I'm in kind of some... Well, actually can't because... Yeah, the knight. So he'd have to defend the knight first. So, yeah, a move like that, maybe. Yeah, and if he queenside castle and he could bring a rook over here, I mean, I'm in kind of some trouble, actually. But you only get one move at a time in chess. So he found a little bit of a weird way. Okay, so we played really well. Played like a 1600, which is far above my rating. They played like an 1150, which is far above both of our ratings, theirs and mine. Our openings were fantastic on both our ends. We had the good old exclamation mark, and my middle game got an exclamation mark as well, whereas his just got the good mark. I think he played a good game up until I mean, I even think this wasn't that bad. Like, I think he was like, yeah, the computer says I have an advantage, but I mean, I throw games with this kind of lead all the time. So here, this move actually equalized us again. Like, pretty much. I have a little advantage, but we're gaining advantage now, and then that just kind of seals the deal right there. This lost me some advantage, but I'm still completely winning. So the rook move is good, but I think there's still some way to create a little bit of counterplay in a position like this. Yeah, so fun game. Hope you guys enjoyed. I had a good time playing this one. This was fun. It's fun to attack. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you next time.